Hello, my friends. My name is Jim Macauley, and I'm a candidate for Congress here in California's 20th District, representing the interests of the folks at Kern, Tulare, Fresno, and King counties. And I want to tell you a little bit about why I'm running. But before I do that, I want to do a little bit of a shout out and a thank you to the folks at the League of Women Voters for putting this website together. Very powerful site, got an awful lot of information available. Starts out with my 3 top priorities, which I'll talk about in just a second. And then there's information on my background and my history and those kinds of things. It also provides a place where I can kind of expound on the position papers or the position issues that I think are important through that documentation. So I encourage you to take a look at it. It's a little bit of a long read, but I think you'll find it to be very interesting, particularly given my priorities, which are frankly different than almost any other congressional candidate anywhere in the country. You'll find out in a second why. And then, of course, I've added some videos that I've taken over the years as I've traveled the country talking about this problem that I think needs to be solved on behalf of an organization I started called the National Savings Foundation back in 2015. So my shout out and my thanks to the folks there at the League of Women Voters that have done a real nice job putting this thing together. So thank you very much for giving me that opportunity. Now, just kind of a quick summary and overview. My top 3 priorities are very simple. You're not going to believe this. I want to go back to 1913, throw away that 2,700 pages of tax code that's been developed over the last 100 years, reinstall the first 4 pages, because I asked myself, if all you got to do is collect taxes to pay the nation's debts, fund its operations, then why do you need 2,700 pages? Why can't you do it in 4 pages just like they did in 1913? I know the answer. I'm a retired accountant. I know exactly why. But we don't need to get into that at the moment. The point is this. My top 3 priorities, go back to 1913, give you what you are entitled to based upon what your ancestors, if you will, negotiated for. Check this out. How about $120,000 of income federally tax-free? We can afford it. I know how to do it. I've already penciled it out, so it's not a problem. But I want everybody in the country to receive $120,000 of their income federally tax-free, whether they're rich or poor. What that means, frankly, is that there's going to be about another 40 million people in this country who next year, 2023, after we put this thing into place, their taxes are going to go to 0, which means all that money is going to go back into their pockets. They can use it for additional consumption or to pay down their debts or to give to their favorite charities, whatever those might be, or to invest that money if they want to do it for their future. But the truth of the matter is they can probably use that money for other purposes, because the second thing I want to do is I want to change this payroll tax structure, because Franklin Roosevelt in 1935 never should have funded this system from the bottom up, which is what we do. We fund it based on the wages of the working poor and middle class principally. Last year in total we took about $1.3 trillion out of the paychecks of America's workers. A little over $1 trillion of that probably came out of people who make less than $100,000 a year. Forget that. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to put that 15.3% in your own investment account from the time you're 16 years of age. We're going to turn you into a capitalist, a working capitalist, that is, somebody who goes to work every day and contributes to their best ability. But every time you get paid, you're going to get rewarded with that 15% going into your own investment account. And over the course of a 54-year period in this great country, I guarantee you, by the time you get there, my age, you'll be comfortably retired. You will have lived the American dream. You will be financially independent. When you die, if you still like those kids and children of yours, you can pass that money down generationally to them. And we can break that cycle of poverty, not just for specific groups, but for everybody. Because it turns out, me and my 80 million best friends, when we receive our 15.3% check from the folks that are paying that bill, we're not discriminatory at all. We take it from all of you exactly the same way. We don't care what you look like. Okay? So put that money in your own investment account, invest it at 9% instead of 0%, which is what you get from the government. And then we ask your kids to pay you back, just like I'm now asking you to pay me back, because you're now the designated driver, just like I was. Stupid system, stupidest funding system we ever came up with. Problem is, like I said, we needed $1.3 trillion last year to take care of us. That's America's baby boomers. That's because they took $17 trillion from us, and because they did it, we didn't create $70 trillion of wealth. If we had $70 trillion of wealth, we wouldn't need to take $35 trillion from you over the next 25 years, which is what we're planning on doing. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do to you what they did to us. We're going to take that $35 trillion. If I have anything to say about it, I'm going to put it in your own investment account. And over the next 25 years, you're going to create $135 trillion worth of wealth for your retirement so that you can take care of yourself and your families. And then, in the meantime, since I got to get paid, I'm going to go to the wealthiest people in the country who last year generated $12 trillion of personal income that never got taxed for Social Security and Medicare, because for 85 years when they set this system up, people with capital gains and dividends and interest income and income in excess of the cap, they didn't have to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes on those funds. And because they had those exclusions, somebody else had to pick up the tab. And that somebody else has been the working poor and middle class. People like myself, people like a lot of people I know, people like 80 million baby boomers today who are retired, living partially on Social Security. So we'll take the money from the wealthiest people in the country. We'll let them pick up the tab just like was agreed in 1913. And I'll explain that to you as you go through my position papers. Take a good look at them, read through them, spend the 25 minutes with it. Learn something that you don't know and become a lot better informed, and then pick up the phone and call your congressmen and senators, wherever you are around the country, and ask them, what the hell have we been thinking? Because that's the way we ought to be approaching it. I'm going to let it go at this, give you a chance to go read the stuff rather than try to give it to you all here. Again, my name is Jim Macauley. I'm a candidate for Congress in the 20th District. I really would like to see you vote for me on June the 7th. That's really important. I don't care who you support. Really, I want you to vote for me on June the 7th. And the reason I want you to support me is because I want to carry this conversation on through November. And the best way to do that is to get me in a situation where I am running against someone else in this district. And I think we all know who that someone else is going to be. So it's going to make for a very interesting conversation, because I intend to ask folks why it is this country, from a political standpoint, has been doing this as long as it has. My name is Jim Macauley. Vote for me on June the 7th. After that, what you do in November, that's up to you. Thanks very much for your time. Have a great day.